and 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
Hey, I'm Willie Nelson, and you're watching HempRock TV.
We don't run, and we don't compromise, we don't quit, we never do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am MSgt Tony Vance, the voice of Freedom's Voice. Ain't been on in a while. Hope everybody's doing well. Tonight, let's talk about the Biden agenda. Chris Christie was on the Daily Show there a while back, a few nights back. And he was, he sounded okay. Trevor Noah was interviewing him. He sounded like a reasonable guy until he got to the end of his spiel. And then he said the radical left policies of the Biden administration. Radical left. Like what? We're going to take away everybody's money and then divide it evenly among everybody, which would be communism or socialism, whatever the hell ism you want to call it. No. The Democrats aren't trying to do that. What are they trying to do? They're trying to improve the lives of the citizens by improving the things that allow our system and our citizens to operate. Broadband, roads and bridges, all that kind of stuff. And he did that. They managed to get the infrastructure, basic infrastructure part of the Build Back Better plan passed. And that's good. It's going to upgrade airports and our ports in the water and our just everything, water systems, climate remediation, money for transit and rail, Have you ever looked at a picture of our engines, train engines, and the engines of the modern countries who believe in supporting this kind of thing? They're years and years and years ahead of us. And all this is good stuff. I cannot see where trying to replace a bridge before it collapses and kills a bunch of people is a radical leftist policy, but apparently, according to Chris Christie, it is. Now, the other part of the Biden plan, and I made a list here. Management of the National Forest System, job placement and career services, safe drinking water, energy efficiency and weatherization products, electric vehicles, zero emissions, heavy-duty vehicles, public health infrastructure and supply chain resiliency, housing, rental, and homeowner assistance programs, cybersecurity programs, which we definitely need, tribal infrastructure, housing, environmental, and health programs, wildfire prevention, drought relief, conservation efforts, climate change, all this stuff, small business assistance and development, transit services. The bill establishes programs to provide 6 semesters of free community college, free child care for children under the age of 6, free universal free school services, and health benefits for eligible individuals who can't get Medicaid and stuff. All that kind of thing are things that support our citizens. And if we support our citizens, we're supporting our country. Now, all this stuff is good stuff. And nowhere is it radical. What was radical was continuing to cut taxes on the ultra wealthy when they knew it's damaging the economy. It's destroyed the buying power of the middle class, and the kind of things that Biden's doing are restoring some of that. But during the pandemic, the stimulus just gave people money. And how did that work out? Quite well. Saved the economy anyway. And maybe that's what we should do. I mean, we destroyed the buying power of the middle class. Unless we force corporations and big businesses to start paying some kind of a living wage. I had a pretty good idea. If the guy working for Walmart is not paid enough and he needs food stamps to get by, or even welfare to get by, then I think the company he's supposedly working for should reimburse the American taxpayer for that money. It's either that or force them to pay a living wage, or, as has been gone over and over and over and over and over since the late 60s, a universal basic income. Like Yang was talking about, $1,000 a month. Nobody starves, but it's not enough to live on by itself. You know, unless you're disabled in some way or whatever. You'd be able to take that money. And then you could have a crappy minimum wage, you know? People would be able to take those jobs. But on the other hand, $1,000 a month coming in would enable me to say, no, I don't mind doing the work, but I ain't going to do it for crap wages. You're going to have to pay me enough. And that's what's happening now. It's not that people don't want to work. People don't want to work for crappy wages. People don't want to work for crappy businesses. And they're in a position right now where their labor is on top. You want me to come work for you? You got to pay me a decent wage. But how long will this last? And you know what's really interesting as a history freak? At the end of the plague in Europe, the bubonic plague, the serfs started demanding more from their overlords for their labor. I think it was probably some of the first labor revolts in history. The serfs were taking advantage of a situation where there weren't enough workers. So how are you going to get the workers to come work for you and not work for the other guy? And they were keenly aware of that. And we're in a similar situation. It's not that so many people died, although we're over 750,000 people, and I don't know why that isn't a huge crisis. But we came through it, and we came through it with a stimulus. And what was the stimulus? It gave people money. And I know I've said this before, so I'll just make it short, but every test of a universal basic income show that people spend that money to improve their lives, and spending that money will drive the economy. In 1968, 1,200 economists, John Kenneth Galbraith, calling for a universal basic income because they were planning on the spending power of the middle class to drive the economy. And when we started cutting taxes on the wealthy, and some reasonable cuts in the beginning were fine. We didn't need 90% taxes. But now it is so low, it's gotten so low, that every time they do one of these things, it increases taxes on the middle class and the poor. Local taxes go up because federal money isn't coming in to help them provide services for their citizens. And now we're in a situation. We started out in the 60s. I could work. My wife could stay home and take care of the two kids. And we had enough money for a decent car, vacation, and a home. The American dream. What is it now? The American mass servitude or some crap like that. I mean, both mom and dad have to work, and dad might have a second job, or mom might have a second job. And there's nobody taking care of the kids when they get home. It's a terrible situation. And it's all brought on by this, and I'll say it, financial rape of the middle class. That's what it's been. It's what it's continued to be. Stopping that, restoring the buying power of the middle class. And those aren't even radical leftist policies. Those are just common economic sense. Now, I don't know what kind of radical policies Chris Christie was talking about. He seems like a decent fellow, but I don't know who he's trying to appeal to. Child care, assisting our citizens with child care, paid family leave, making people's lives better, pulling millions of children out of poverty with the child care thing. These are all things that citizens in other countries already have. They already have them. They've had them for decades. The question is, why don't we? And don't give me that crap, we can't afford it, because that ain't true. What we can afford is continuing to allow the wealthiest in our country to avoid paying taxes and to avoid their responsibility. And I think if you start putting a couple of these guys in jail, things might turn around. But the rape of the middle class cannot go on. What, they both have to get 2 jobs? Do the kids have to drop out of school and work? Come on. Why does the Republican Party insist on taking us backwards? It's insane. Because what's going to happen? The middle class is going to totally collapse. The poor's already collapsed. And the wealthy are going to left hanging high and dry. And their system of support is collapsed too. And just like with the climate thing, we need to turn this thing around and keep the temperature down. We need to restore the buying power of the middle class and the poor. We need to restore a decent tax rate for the wealthy that supports all of us and the country and moves us forward. Come on, if you put a 5% tax on a billionaire, he's still going to be a billionaire when you're done. They know that. Why they're so scared of people demanding a fair cut, I don't know. But they are. They're radical leftist policies. The left's going to turn you into a communist country because they're going to give you paid family leave so you can take care of your children. Come on. I wish the other side would get a grip. We could maybe get a lot more done. Because the more we improve the lives of our citizens, the more we improve the country. And that's it in a nutshell. A canute shell. Anyway, that's it for this time. Don't be afraid of radical leftist policies. They just might put a little more money in your pocket and help you out. As far as the cancer goes, here's where we're at. I've had 7 treatments each, 2 rounds. The outer tumor was gone. We found a little tumor underneath the big tumor in the tail of the pancreas. We did 4 more treatments of a different kind of chemical. The doctor wanted to change chemicals. And they did a scan, and they could not see the tiny tumor. Now, all the time, during each round, I've done a round of the 90-day treatment for Rick Simpson oil. I thought maybe the scan was cloudy. Maybe they just couldn't see it. Or when I got to the doc, it's clear as a bell. The tumor is not there. So we're going to do about 3 more rounds of chemo, kind of clean things up, And then I'll go on a maintenance diet of the Rick Simpson oil and monitor, watch for the cancer to come back maybe or not. I hope not. And cross my fingers and hope for the best. But it's a nice Christmas present. And on top of that, right after I found out about the scan, I got a call from the MVets. They have a raffle every Memorial Day or Veterans Day. They'll have a raffle, and you're a member, so you get your $25 worth of tickets, and you write your check and you send it in. I won the grand prize for the Veterans Day for the Veterans Day raffle for the MVets, 10 grand. And what's funny is all it does is make me whole again, because I spent about $8,500 on oil during this whole thing to begin with. And it's just now some people are coming out of the woodwork saying, well, we could have helped you out with that a lot cheaper. Well, it's too late now, but, I appreciate it. At any rate, things are looking up. So we'll see you the next time. Y'all have a good time. I'll try and do another show for Christmas. Take her easy and take it while you can get it.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and the Willie Nelson Teapot Party and I endorse Veterans for Medical Cannabis Access.
Just roll me up and smoke me when I die.